Hey guys, we're back. It's your girl Brina,
Hey, this is Tasha.
and it's Us on Reality. This week we're going to be talking about Ready to Love episode 3.
Mm.
And it was the girls who were in control. And these ladies brought those outfits, right?
Man, they did bring the outfit.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
Miss Corvea. How are you? Mercedes, how you doing?
So this week the ladies met with Tommy at Tommy's Lounge Church. I don't really like that as a church.
I don't like that
I don't
either.
like that. I don't
Why
like
are
that.
they doing that? Black people don't play with mixing churches and
They are these
outside.
they met with Tommy in Tommy's Lounge, and the ladies were tasked with discussing something that they normally would not talk about in a relationship like this early.
Mm.
So we're just gonna go over each person's date. So first up, it was Mercedes and Sue-Ann, and they invited Mark Anthony and Blake out for something called Kangoo.
Man, I would love to try this.
It it looked like fun and adventurous, but still safe.
But my thought is, all of that was shadowed by why
Like,
did you bring Blake?
I was surprised to see that Sue-Ann seemed to enjoy Blake's company. I didn't see that before.
Hmm. I
So
did.
like, you like
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Disney princess. There's much farther better suitors in the
Okay.
kingdom.
So Mercedes and Mark Anthony seemed to hit it off really good. I thought it was funny that Mark Anthony was like, yo, my boys are gonna record this and just play it back for me
Yeah,
over and
I
over.
thought that was funny. That was cute. That was cute. But I really like him and Mercedes together. I
They were
can't wait to keep moving around.
they seem like they were really natural together
Hmm. Yeah, they
compared to
do.
Blake and Sue-Ann.
Mm.
What was that? It seemed like
Sue Sue. Sue Sue. He
yeah,
said I'm a couple
I was like, is this how he really talks to people? Like
like his.
him having the confrontational discussions that he had with people in other episodes seem more natural for him than him flirting with her.
Yeah. Probably that's what kind of I mean, that's what lightweight makes me kind of believe that what Jeffrey was saying may be true.
I don't think Jeffrey's lying.
Oh
And
no.
a little foreshadowing on that, I thought it was hilarious when Sue-Ann said, we're skipping, whatever. I thought it was funny when Sue-Ann said, we're here for love and Jeffrey's here for lies.
I know. I said, dang.
Which made me think, because Sue-Ann seems cool. So I was just
Yes,
like,
he
why
does.
would
That's
she
I don't
say
understand why
that?
she like
What else, what other things has Jeffrey been saying?
yeah.
So not to go too far ahead, we'll
Mm-hmm.
really back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that was that date. They seemed to have fun. The next date was Cynthia and Andre, and they went and did that paint and sip.
Oh my God, you know I love.
Mhm.
Not only were they in my realm of paint and joy, and
Yeah.
I just like them together. I really do. And how she was so vulnerable with him during her date. I
Mhm.
thought she's just so honest. And he's so genuine.
At
So I
first, I didn't like him. I didn't like him with Jeffrey. I didn't like Andre. He rubbed me as phony. But
Mhm.
then the more he kept talking to her, I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, I mean, you're on TV finding out something about somebody else that can be uncomfortable. So I
Yeah.
was like, he's just like sorting through that.
Mhm.
It did seem more genuine.
Yeah. He seems very genuine. I really liked it. And I really like her. So
Mhm.
to me, so far, no wrong. She's done no wrong.
I loved how she opened up. I love the questions. I love their what was it? Just like the ease of their conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when she started crying and he went
Mhm.
and got her tissue, and then she kind of cried a little bit more, and he took his whole arm, his bare arm.
Yeah. Here, use my shirt. You can have it all, girl.
Arm. It was just his skin. He just gave her his bare arm. I was like, only a man. But I was just like, that was sweet though. Like
Mm.
it was the thought. I thought it was really nice.
It was very sweet.
Yeah, they were cute. I like them together.
I was trying to see if I had anything about it. I don't know. Oh, those were the first two. Okay.
Mhm. All right.
Okay.
Do you have who's next?
Is it the Febreze date and Corvea?
Mhm.
Why was she out with him?
Why was
Why?
she out with him?
Oh, she said because they both had an interest in riding bikes.
Did she not want to see if she had a stronger interest with anyone else?
My son has an interest in riding bikes. She
Well,
want to take him on a date.
I just, I was just like, okay.
Only qualification.
There was a part of me that I felt like she was trying, girl. Hope I ain't knocking stuff over. There was a part of me that I felt like she was just trying to see if there was more with Fabrice.
I think she probably was.
And
And I
so, mhm.
just wants a particular type of lifestyle, and obviously Febreze could give her that. So
Mhm.
maybe she's like, well, maybe I need to try him out one more time.
Their
Mhm.
date was hella awkward.
It was awkward.
They weren't really. I mean, you're riding bikes. You can't really talk while you're doing that.
They
They
look happy on the bikes though.
they did, which both of them like riding it. So I guess that was probably the high point of that date.
Mm-hmm.
But so it looked like it was a short bike ride, so they weren't really on there for too long, and then they pulled over somewhere to talk. So I liked all of that. They both like being active. They both seemed to enjoy that bike ride. Looked like a beautiful day. And then they pulled over to talk, and I was like, this could be really nice. And that's where it shifted, right? That's where the conversation was like,
It did. I'm trying to understand because sometimes when certain people talk, I'm just like, oh, they're pretty. And I start to think like, oh man, I wonder what that man's fashion career is like. And so when I came, some of the stuff I was like picking up, it was like he said something to her about like, oh, if I looked like you, I think that way too.
yes. And when he said that, I was like, what is he referring to? He said that she's only concerned with sweating. He said that his first brand, so I'm like, did he come out with more than one brand? Was when he was 27 and then he sold it after 10 years. I was like,
Yeah.
well, that's pretty impressive.
Mm.
Corvea was saying it's not about the money aspect. And that's when he cut her off. And he was acting like what she was saying wasn't substantial enough. But I was like, you cut her off. You don't know where she was going.
Yep.
So just one more thing about Corvea and Fabrice. He obviously rubbed her the wrong way. She seemed completely turned off, not interested. And I don't really blame her. I feel like he judged her and he didn't let her speak.
I feel like he did too, but well, not really. Because I feel like Corvea comes off a certain type of way, but she doesn't want to come off that type of way. I think she knows she does. So she tries to, I don't know.
I
To me,
feel
it's
like she also knows what she wants. So she's really not trying to mask anything either.
true.
Yeah.
I
So
understood. I understood what he was trying to say.
what do you think he was trying to say?
Um, like she thinks she deserves a certain type of lifestyle, and by him saying like, she's a pretty girl, that some girls think that they are entitled to different things because they're so gorgeous.
Mm,
And so I think that's what he was meaning, like when he said, "If I look like you, I think that way too."
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I get from her is that she she carries herself in a certain way. She presents herself a certain way. And so therefore she wants a man that's going to appreciate that and also bring something to the table, because just because she's attractive, she could be attractive and still be a bum. Like she's attractive and she still carries herself with a certain grace and elegance, and she wants somebody that's going to meet that energy. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, good for you for looking for that. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you lie to yourself and be like, no, it's okay, if that's how you get in the situation, you're like, who the is this?
Yeah.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, good for her for fighting for what she wants. And if she doesn't find it, she's going to be fine. She can take care of herself. And she
Yeah.
seems like she still enjoys life.
Yeah.
So,
She's gonna. All right. People don't need these relationships like they think they do to go on
mm,
throughout their life. It's nice for you to have them, but you're going to live and be just fine.
as well.
Without the
Yes. So then next it was Morgan and Marcia. Is her name Marcy or Marcia? I feel like I've heard them say both ways, and I feel like I've even heard her say both. So I'm like, girl, what's your name?
I don't know, but
Her.
it's a lot of pronunciation. I mean, she's not Hispanic. Marcia, your name is Marcy, but there's an A at the end, isn't there?
Yeah.
So Marcia.
I feel like that's how some people spell Marsha too.
That's that name.
I know, it's weird. So Morgan and Marcia invited Lyndon and Tony. What the? Oh, okay. Wait. I wanted to say this. No, it doesn't matter.
What?
I was gonna say all of the girls were tasked with saying something that they'd never said before.
Mhm.
And I recall Mercedes, goodness gracious.
Mix it up.
Mercedes shared something with Mark Anthony. Sue-Ann didn't share anything with Blake. Cynthia shared with Andre that she has a wall up, and usually she has a harder exterior, and it's usually hard for her to let guys see it, but she's like, she was so concerned that that's all they see, that they don't realize that she's also soft inside, which was just beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't recall if Carvea shared anything with Fabrice, but whatever.
She probably was trying, but he wasn't.
Right.
He wasn't up what she was putting down. Like he was. I think he already had a notion of her in his head, and he just did not want her to change it at all.
He definitely did, but he didn't seem as standoffish, or I don't feel like he was as aggressive as Blake, because I feel like Blake is like a know-it-all cocky jerk.
Yeah.
But Fabrice, I felt like he was just like, I've been around, I've seen it, like I know that's what it is. Like it was more of like this like understanding in a way, but still he passed a judgment without letting her talk. Their delivery was a little bit different for me. So Marcia and Morgan asked Tony and Lyndon out, and they went to the beach. And I thought it was interesting. I think it was Morgan that said that she's been talking to Tony on the phone more than she's been talking to anybody else.
Who said? Oh, yeah, Morgan. Yeah, she did.
Morgan. But I thought that she said she's also been talking to Lyndon on the phone.
She said she's talking to them both quite a bit, but I thought Tony was a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, but then when they sat down and they split and Lyndon was with Marcia, she was like, I gave you my number and you've never used it. And he was like, oh, I've just been busy. It's interesting that Lyndon said he was too busy, but yet he's been talking to Morgan on the phone. Yeah. But then Marcia said it. She's like, you make time for what you want to make time for. And I was like, yes. So Marcia, she said about herself, the thing that she shared was that she's never been in love before. And I think Marcia is 38. No, Morgan. I'm sorry. Morgan shared that about herself. And Morgan is 38. Yeah. So I thought about myself when I heard that, I was like, has she never dated a guy of caliber, which I can completely understand, because as a woman that didn't get married until my late 30s, there was a lot of situationships. So I could understand her guarding her heart and not letting her fall in love with someone that's trash. But then I was also like, or is she too guarded? So I was like, I wonder what her story is. Is what I was thinking.
What's Morgan's profession?
Interior designer.
Okay. Well, my thought is, whenever I hear people say, oh, it's a red flag for me, she's such age and hasn't been in love yet. I don't understand how it's a red flag.
Because you don't know all of her story. What if she's never met anybody that was deserving of her?
Right. What if she has just never met a person to spark her in that way? So she should be like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
No, that's not for her for not just fall in love with anybody. If that's
not crazy.
Good for her.
I don't feel it's crazy.
So that's why I just said, when she said that, it just made me think both sides of the coin. Like, I want more of that story. Because there's something else there. Because she seems like a very loving and kind person. So, like, what is going on there? But then as it continued to unfold, she mentioned to Tony, I wonder, or yeah, I think she said it to him. All of this that I'm getting, is this like specific to me, or is this how like you're interacting with multiple ladies? Which I was like,
Mm.
smart.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
girl, that low talking, like it seems very
Girl,
1990s R&B.
I'm just here to try to see
stuff.
you. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's why you need to let
Don't
your stuff go.
don't move your shoulders at me because are we working out? Or are we having a conversation?
And he not talking about nothing.
Like you're trying to create a vibe. Just talk. Is this how
You
you
can't.
think of yourself? Just talk.
You're gonna piss me off if you keep moving your shoulders. One thing I did really like though on their picnic lunch, I loved that they were having a conversation about emotions and feelings and because and mental states because
Yeah, I
that's
love
becoming more common
it.
in the Black community.
That's what I was gonna say. It's nice to hear Black couples discussing that.
And
Definitely.
I feel like every season of Ready to Love, they mention it, like
Oh,
mental health. Like there's always somebody on here who's talking about how much better their life has been because they've gone to counseling, like personally, like trying to prepare themselves to be ready to enter into a relationship with someone
I
else.
like that. That
But
is really
that's huge. Just can we go to Lyndon and Marcia when they walked off and they were over there?
yes.
Girl,
That was
like, what did she say? Something about you have to take your opportunities.
yes. Yep.
This man tried to lean at you like, oh no
No,
no
no,
no.
no, no.
You right now?
And in the women's lounge, she was saying like that man tried to kiss me.
She said, I'm still getting to know you.
Yeah, yeah. This ain't The Bachelor.
I love everything that they're bringing in this because it seems like adults dating.
It is that. I
And
need
I
to know
love
who
that.
I'm putting my lips on
And I
before I
love
put my
that.
lips on.
Yes. I
I've
don't
never
know.
known people so eager to kiss.
And why are you? What if you
I
didn't even like me? So people are like, we gotta see if you have chemistry. You can talk to me. And
Why?
if you don't even like me, who cares how I kiss? I like their dates. I think that Tony said he was into Marcia and Morgan, but obviously, it seemed like him and Morgan were hitting it off more. Linda seemed like he was into both of them. And Morgan seemed like she was into both of them, but obviously more into Tony. And the same
Yeah.
for Marcia. I think she's still trying to fill out Tony and or Lyndon. So
Mhm.
I liked seeing them together.
Mhm.
I wonder if they switched and we just didn't get to see that, or like if that was it. What do you think?
I don't know.
And then the
What was?
next
Oh yeah, yeah.
girl, Jeffrey and Demario or Marcus
I
on them.
didn't even know these two were interested in each other.
When I found out Jeffrey picked me for this date, I was excited, but I was a little taken back because it's like I'm supposed to ride horses in the middle of Miami.
Their conversation was flat to me.
But
Jeffrey
but
is
he
weird.
seemed intrigued, and I feel like the more it goes on, she is weird.
She was weird from the beginning. I told you, crystals. That's the vibe she gives me. Let me check my crystals. They didn't really seem to hit it off to me. At one point when he was asking her about her time management and knowing how she would incorporate dating into also being a mother, he seemed like he was really like interested to see like how she would handle that. But something in his face was giving me confusion also.
Yep. Like he wasn't really sure if he could date a woman with 3 children. That's what I got.
Fair, which is fair.
Very fair.
I don't know how many men or other side of that, women are just ready to jump into that. That's a lot.
Especially if you don't have any kids. Your life is completely free in your own. And now you're jumping in with 3. I thought the horse riding looked fun though, but I don't know. Have you ever ridden a horse? I'm not like I'm not really.
We have, did we not when we were younger?
We went to ride. Joseph and I went and rode horses one time on a date. And I thought it was absolutely horrible. Just because I was terrified because I'm sitting on this thing. And if it wanted to take off, we could both die.
So then Lyndon
Lyndon.
and Jonique.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, Linda's a hot commodity.
I know. I don't understand why. You talked about that poor DJ's hair and Lyndon.
DJ, that whatever that boy's name, his hair was worse than Lyndon's.
Lies.
Looked
You
half
have to
cocked.
go back. I'm gonna find you a
Maybe
clip.
I'll
I'll
have to go
find
back and look at it, but it looked half cocked. I didn't like it. So Lyndon and Jonique.
no.
Yeah, their date seems super chill.
Mm-hmm.
At
I
wine.
really I thought that Jonique sharing the thing that she doesn't normally share, saying that she compares her men, was big. A lot of people do that. And you wouldn't even think to share that.
Mm-mm.
I thought that was cool that she felt free enough to say that and to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do something a little bit different on this, experience going around. I thought that was nice.
I really like her. She just seems so chill
Mm-hmm.
and so laid back, but like she has some stuff to say. So that was it for the dates. Easily my favorite date watching was Marcia and Morgan and Lyndon and Tony.
Oh
Those
yeah,
ones were kind of awkward. Except
they were.
for Cynthia and Andre. Theirs was really sweet.
Theirs was my favorite. I think
Theirs was
that
sweet.
was my favorite.
The four at the beach, theirs was just fun.
It was super fun.
Aside from weird Tony.
I feel like anything where Marcia is, I could just have a good time.
So then the ladies went back to Tommy's lounge, and the biggest thing that stood out to me there was Jeffrey saying that Blake called her on what, day one?
I don't know if it was
Day one?
I don't remember if she said day one. I know she said like early, like he was saying he hated that he had to go through the process because he already found his person.
Here's the thing.
I'm just trying to figure out. They're saying that she's
seen Blake and Jeffrey talking.
No.
Blake doesn't seem like he's trying to hide anything. Unless this is editing, why haven't we even just seen them interacting?
I don't know.
In the way that Blake is, if he's really already found his person, he seems very forward. Why would he be even talking to anybody else?
I know that's what's so crazy to me because I don't want to think that she's lying, but also it doesn't line up with him.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And I'm trying to figure out like what is the benefit of this lie.
Some people that lie though, maybe she wanted to say something and then you say something, you get caught up in something, and then it's almost like you commit to this thing because you started saying it. Maybe it just like got away from her or something, or maybe he voiced something jokingly and like she twisted. I mean, who knows?
That could have been.
But I haven't even seen them interact at all. And when they talk about people, when they show us who they say they're interested in, he's never mentioned her. So let's say he called her in the second week and he's like, I already found it and it's you. Blake doesn't seem like he wants to sit around twirling his thumbs. She seemed off put by it. So did she not tell him she wasn't interested in him? And he was like, I'm still going in all in on you. Or did she entertain it? Because that's something that he actually did, and she seems so off put by it, but he's still going for you. Like that don't even line up with who this man presents to be. Like it doesn't make sense.
Is there anything else you can think of that some other women said in there?
Corvea said that Fabrice thought she was spoiled.
Yeah, she comes off as that, or at least wanting to be spoiled.
She does. I think Mark Anthony even said that about her in a past episode too.
And Linda
said it's giving gold digger.
Yeah.
I don't get that from Corvea. I really just feel like she knows what she wants and she lets it be known. So if you don't want to deal with it, like don't accept it.
Don't deal with it.
Which is exactly what I feel about Blake, which is ironically, I thought the two of them would have been good together just from like those initial things. But the more we know about them, no, they would not be. But they know what they want and they're not scared to say it. I don't remember anything else discussed in the lounge. Marcia talked about Lyndon trying to kiss her.
Yeah.
And Corvea said Lyndon is a player because she said he tried to kiss her too.
That's true. That doesn't necessarily make him a player. I mean, if his job was in the nightlife, I feel like those people think it's okay to be always putting your mouth on somebody.
Lyndon also said he's known people say that he tries to kiss too soon anyway. I don't
I'm
think I didn't wasn't getting a player for him. I think he just don't know when's the right time to wait.
yeah.
And I think Cynthia mentioned, how great it was opening up to Andre. And she looked like she was almost going to cry again there.
Mm-hmm. She did.
Hmm. So that's what I remember from the lounge.
Yeah.
So we'll say who was up for elimination.
Mhm.
After the ladies collaborated, after the ladies collaborated with Tommy, they decided that Fabrice and Blake would be on the chopping block, unsurprisingly. And I honestly was like, I don't really care. Like, if either one of them, I didn't care who they sent home between
You
them.
know who I wanted to go home.
I know you wanted to see Blake go away.
My gosh, I don't understand how he's still hanging on by like his toenails. Who is keeping him alive?
Suanne.
Fabrice is not. I feel like.
Suanne obviously saved him.
And who did they send to eliminate Fabrice?
Marcia, remember? Because when they sat down, she had on that top, and he was like, "Ooh, you
Yeah,
look
he was
gorgeous." She said,
and she was like, "You make me want to cover." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" You know what? That's so unfortunate because as women, a lot of times you'll feel like that, but then you feel uncomfortable enough to want to even cover yourself. Like if you see someone looking at you, you're just kind of like,
and then he was like, "Why do you have it on?" And she was like, "Because I like it. Like I feel comfortable in it. I like to dress this way. I shouldn't be objectified, and it's a fine line.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It can be sometimes, especially with the fashions these days. You're basically putting them on the table."
Oh gosh.
I mean, so it's like, but I get it. I don't think that she was like tacky and just laid out there. She was not. She's also a busty woman, so they're going to be on display. But I think as a gentleman, you can acknowledge and compliment without being tacky, and he was tacky, which
Poor
is
guy.
why they got rid of him. Nobody was feeling that energy from Fabrice.
Yeah, I hated that it was him that got sent home. But
Well, I didn't care, like I said.
mm-hmm.
And also I was like, okay, Suanne seems like she's really checking for Blake. And she told Blake what Jeffrey said.
Yeah,
I appreciate that she told him that, especially if Jeffrey is lying.
yeah. I can't wait to see how that plays out in the next episode.
So, the previews. The previews for next week show them on a yacht party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of like some alluding that Jeffrey is lying. There's like a little clip showing Suanne and Jeffrey getting into it. And then
Really?
also, so since this week was the ladies' week, next week it's the guys. And they're presented with that, proverbial lifeline. And I think it was like Mark Anthony and Demario were like
Or
really heated about who they wanted, if they wanted to use it.
mm-hmm.
I was just like, well, what happens next week? All right, guys, we just want to say thanks for watching, and we hope that you like and subscribe. See you next time.
Yeah.